Gambia remembers World War soldiers who died in line of duty. U.S. Vice President-elect says she will not be the last woman to fill the country's number 2 seat. Gambia's Truth Commission resumes its public hearing on human rights violations by the National Intelligence Agency. This and more coming your way on The World Today. Hello, this is Africa TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante. Many thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. Now, on Saturday, the Gambia joined Commonwealth member states to mark Remembrance Day in a ceremony held at the Makati Square in Banjul. The event, led by the Vice President Aissatou Touré, was meant to remember forces who died in the line of duty during the First World War. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Remembrance Day is a memorial day observed in Commonwealth member states since the end of the First World War to remember the members of their armed forces who have died in the line of duty. It follows the tradition inaugurated by King George V in 1919. The day is also marked by war remembrance in many non-Commonwealth countries. Remembrance Day is observed on 11 November in most countries to recall the end of hostilities of the First World War on that day in 1918. In accordance with the armistice and agreement signed by representatives of Germany and the Allies of the First World War, the First World War officially ended with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles on 28 June 1919. On Saturday, Gambia's Vice President Dr. Aissatou Touré led celebrations for Remembrance Day with a 2-minute silence and a gun salute to honor the fallen soldiers. Family members of the departed soldiers raised reps as the Vice President, senior government officials and invited guests looked on. Meanwhile, the Second World War ended on May 8, 1945, as the news of Germany's surrender reached the rest of the world. It was the same year that the U.S. President Harry S. Truman announced Japan's surrender and the end of the World War II.
Gambia celebrates or remembers World War II veterans who died in line of duty. Now we move to matters of the U.S. election, as Kamala Harris has said that while she may be the first woman elected as Vice President of America, she will not be the last. She was addressing the nation from Wilmington, Delaware on Saturday after declaring victory as the U.S. Vice President-elect. Let's have more of that in this report by Julian Yaisware.
Born to an Indian mother and a Jamaican father, the Democrat Vice President-elect said, although America's democracy is not guaranteed, it is only as strong as their willingness to fight for it.
And about the generations of women, black women, Asian, white, Latina, Native American women, who throughout our nation's history have paved the way for this moment tonight. Women who fought and sacrificed so much for equality and liberty and justice for all, including the black women who are too often overlooked, but so often prove they are the backbone of our democracy.
Senator Harris often argues that her identity makes her uniquely suited to fight for the people who have been traditionally ignored. She said her mother may not imagine a moment like this. She believed so deeply in an America where a moment like this is possible.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last. Because every little girl watching tonight sees that this is a country of possibilities. And to the children of our country, regardless of your gender, our country has sent you a clear message. Dream with ambition, lead with conviction, and see yourselves in a way that others may not, simply because they've never seen it before. But know that we will applaud you every step of the way.
Kamala Harris took the moment to sour praises on the president-elect, saying Mr. Biden is a healer, a uniter, a trustor, and a steady hand, whose own experience of loss gives him a sense of purpose that will help their nation reclaim their own sense of purpose. Madam Harris added that she is aware that the road ahead will not be easy, but America is ready, and so are Joe and her. The president-elect, announcing the first steps in his transition plans, pledged to be a president who seeks not to divide but to unify.
I work with all my heart, with the confidence of the whole people, to win the confidence of all of you. And for that is what America, I believe, is about. It's about people. And that's what our administration will be all about. I sought this office to restore the soul of America, to rebuild the backbone of this nation, the middle class, and to make America respected around the world again, and to unite us here at home.
Mr. Biden once again calls for unity, saying he will work as hard for those who didn't vote for him as for those who voted for him. The United States President said their work begins with getting the COVID-19 pandemic under control. He said he will name a group of leading scientists and experts as transition advisors to help tackle the Biden-Harris COVID plan and help convert it into an action blueprint that will start January next year. For iAfrica News, I am Julden Yaisware.
U.S. Vice President-elect and President Joe Biden are speaking to Americans after the elections to lead the Americans for the next 4 years. Now to Egypt, where Egyptians began voting on Saturday in the second phase of parliamentary elections. The elections will stretch over several weeks before the official announcement of the results. However, supporters of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi are said to be dominating in many areas. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Loud music and flashy decorations at every polling station. Egypt is organizing a flashy parliament election to attract more voters.
The party has ordered all members of the Mustaqbal Watan party to intensify the efforts in their districts. We had to make more tours, reach out to the people to create more awareness, so they would vote. This happened across the country. It's why turnout today appears to be picking up more than last time.
Layla Abdulrahim was resting a bit after her vote. It was a kind of a hassle for the 79-year-old Egyptian to come here. She believes casting her ballot is a duty she cannot skip.
I've never missed any election for Egypt. It's a dogma that I have to select whom will rule me for the coming years. And I trust the government and I trust my judgment. That's it. Although I am so tired today, but I came. The last parliament did a good job, but not the one I was looking for. Hoping that this one will do a better job.
Layla wasn't the only one who crossed over the barrier of age to join the election. The age category of those voting during the early hours of the polls appeared to tip towards the higher figures of the age spectrum. Egypt is witnessing a fierce parliament race over 568 seats, divided equally into two phases.
After the 28% turnout in the first phase of the parliament elections, it appears that political parties and everyone engaged in these elections are willing to do whatever it takes to boost these figures.
And from that report there in Cairo, Egypt, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back and many thanks for joining us. Now, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission on Monday continued its public hearings on human rights violations allegedly perpetrated by the National Intelligence Agency, known by its acronym NIA. The agency, which worked directly under the former President Yahya Jammeh, is accused of arbitrary arrest, detention, torture, and forced disappearances, among other heinous crimes. The CISE has more details of that in this report.
Fatou Sonko, a resident from Bankam village in the North Bank region, told the Truth Commission that she was detained by the NIA along with her husband and Sabojam for 7 months. Sonko said no reason for their detention was advanced, but their detention followed a failed coup in December 2014. She said that the only thing she knew was that she was arrested under the orders of the then President Yahya Jammeh.
I do not know what was the reason why I was detained, because I do not even know what I have done.
Did they tell you who ordered your detention?
For it not a friend, it Jumali Kamodito La Puya Telmuta.
Yaya Jammeh. Yaya Jammeh.
Who told you that it was Yaya Jammeh that ordered your detention?
Jumali Nyimfali ko Yaya Jammeh Itelubula Atelmutola.
Tata Yamutada Menta walk of Olto. Where we were detained, that was where that kind of thing was being talked about.
And what would they usually say?
Niba fulai ka fo nyadile.
Anthony inata gibero la lumo mine ka foko kobe korda bale to nakeba man order di follow na ya di oto bal bulalan. Because each time they came to inspect the place, they will say that things are at the big house. Our leader, he has not yet given instructions, and once he gives instructions, we will release you.
Fatou Sonko is the mother of the former soldier Dawda Bojang, who was involved in the December 2014 attack on the State House. She and her husband were arrested in connection with their son's involvement in the coup attempt. Dawda reportedly fled after the attempt to dislodge the former dictator Yahya Jammeh failed. On Monday, her mother told the Truth Commission that she and her fellow detainees were threatened by the NIA under the orders of the former President Yahya Jammeh that no one must say anything to anyone about their arrest and detention.
We were there, and at just one time, James came and said that the senior officials said they wanted to meet you and discuss with you. So we left where we were, and we went upstairs and met them there. And they said that the elder said the reason why he arrested us, he does not want that to part our lips. If he should hear any one of us say it, we will be rearrested. Also nata fanya ko ye biri yodi amol we ke foya bandoro nata fanya ko ya libulale nimi ila mo sila mo ko lino ye ko ni kam. After they made all of those statements was when they told us that we have been released, and that if any one of us could call any one of our relatives to come and pick us up, we are free to do so. Nata tadoma ya janafara tontolungan lawol to arami suwar jumalu nata taya. Myself and my husband went to his brother in Farato. That was where we stayed on Thursday. On Friday, we departed home.
Between 1994 and 2017, President Yahya Jammeh ruled Gambia with an iron fist, clamping down on anyone who criticizes his regime. Political opponents, journalists, and human rights activists were jailed, tortured, disappeared, or killed by state security forces, including a paramilitary hit squad known as the Junglers. The population lived in a climate of fear in which government justice and accountability for abuses was utterly beyond reach. The government has also shown a little regard for the rights of security force personnel who have been accused, rightly or wrongly, of seeking to overthrow President Jammeh. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am DCC.
Witnesses continue to appear before the Truth Reconciliation Commission as they resume hearings today. Now, while the world waits for the final phase of the COVID-19 vaccine, the healthcare agency Johnson & Johnson in South Africa plans to produce 1 billion doses of the vaccine. South Africa's COVID-19 trial was paused in September when some of its participants fell sick. Nonetheless, Johnson & Johnson plan to provide available and affordable vaccines to all South Africans to eliminate the virus. Here are more details of that in this report.
Johnson & Johnson plan to produce 1 billion doses of the single-dose vaccine once the official go-ahead has been given by various international regulators. Aspen will take a leading role in meeting that ambitious target.
We are looking to manufacture around 300 million doses out of our Port Elizabeth facility. And this is quite a significant development, I think, for both Aspen and South Africa, in that Aspen and South Africa will be playing a leading role in hopefully providing what is now required to be a global solution.
Aspen's agreement with Johnson & Johnson will enable it to use its spare manufacturing capacity at its Port Elizabeth operations hub. The firm recently invested $200 million to upgrade its facility there.
It's that particular investment that has now allowed us to move into vaccine manufacturing as well. And would turn Port Elizabeth, through this Aspen facility, would turn PE into a leading global manufacturing hub for anesthetics. So Port Elizabeth won't only be supplying vaccines, it will also supply anesthetics to the world.
The South African president has been on an investment-seeking drive over the last 2 years. Aspen was one of the first businesses to take up that offer and reinvest in the country.
There is no way that we cannot welcome any show of confidence in the capabilities of our companies to make a contribution in the fight against this terrible pandemic called COVID-19.
One of the key concerns facing many African countries is affordable and easy access to any successful vaccine.
J&J have indicated that they will make half of that, 50% of the billion, available for developing and least developed markets. South Africa naturally fits in the developing category. So I think it's an immense positive that Aspen is producing the product here in South Africa.
While the world waits for the results of those vaccine trials, it's now important that the production and distribution of the vaccines is equitable and everybody on the continent gets an opportunity to take them.
The world continues to battle against the COVID-19 virus and pandemic, but we hope that pretty much soon there will be some development to end it around the world. But with that, of course, we finally bring this news bulletin to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, you can also log on to our website on iAfrica.tv. But for now, many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.